What is up, everybody? I'm NoLuxGiven here with your afternoon snap, and today I have got a spicy snap for you as we are going to be taking a look at an Agatha deck. So Lamentis still being the featured location, started to think that's going to draw you 3 cards, and with that you can really take advantage of it if there's some cards that you really want to draw early on in the game, because still wind up drawing about the same amount of cards, but you'll just draw them earlier. And one card that is particularly important to draw by turn 3 is going to be Wave in an Agatha deck. So that's kind of what this whole deck is designed to do, and I'll break down some of those things for you right now, and then we'll get into some gameplay. So we are playing both Domino and Chavez, and both of those cards basically thin your deck, because when you draw cards from Lamentis, you actually won't be able to draw either of those, even if it's turn 2. I kind of brought this up a little bit yesterday, but I wanted to expand on that further. Even if Lamentis is the turn 2 location, you just straight up won't draw Domino. So you won't draw Domino, you won't draw Chavez, and you won't draw Agatha. So those things, I mean, you'll just already have the Agatha in your hand as like a bonus card. So because of both of those things, you are just so much more likely to be drawing Wave in those games where Lamentis is revealed. We're also playing Wasp and Yellowjacket, and those two little bugs might seem a little bit out of place, but they actually serve a really important role in the deck. You can't draw 3 cards if you already have 5 cards in your hand. So Wasp and Yellowjacket are just free cards that you can dump out of your hand for free, and the reason I'm not playing something like Quicksilver is that's one less potential opportunity to draw Wave. Whereas if you draw Wave in your opening hand, you don't necessarily care if you overdraw your deck a little bit because of Wasp and, or because you didn't draw Wasp and Yellowjacket. The important thing is just always trying to hit that Wave on turn 3. So the rest of the cards kind of explain themselves, or they'll explain themselves in the games. So let's jump into some gameplay footage now. And this first game is going to be very quick that I show you. We have got Wasp and we've got Wave in the opening hand, and we also have Death, which I brought up yesterday. Really, really good for Lamentis-1. So when we see that location on turn 1, I'm going to go ahead and snap. Kind of a weird curve later on in the game, but I'm not going to worry about that. And we're also revealing our Death right now because we're playing Agatha. We can't hang on to that Death. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw down a turn 1 snap, but I wanted to show you what this could look like at the very least, and that is going to make my opponent retreat. So we'll play another one. This time we're going to look at a turn 2 Lamentis-1 and see how that works out. But again, we've got Wave in the opening hand. We wouldn't have if we were playing Quicksilver. I guess we would have drawn it turn 1 or something. But this one we will be able to watch the full game play out. You'll see that Yellowjacket playing that now gets me down to 4 cards in hand, which is super important because when Lamentis is revealed on turn 2, then we'll still be able to draw 3 more. So if Wave was like that 7th card, we still would have been able to find it. And you can see we basically draw our whole deck here, and then we still destroy enough to make Death super cheap. So this turn we'll just be running out Death. And then turn 3, we're going to play Wave. Turn 4, we're going to play Agatha. Turn 5, we're going to play TaskMaster copying Agatha. Pretty straightforward stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and snap a Rooney. And yeah, this is a pretty just like textbook game of how you want this deck to play out. So pretty good stuff here. My opponent's got armor, so looking like a little bit of a destroyer deck at this point. And we're going to get Savage Land as the last location. I'll throw that Wave down in there, and yeah, like I said, our curve basically speaks for itself at this point. So I still have a few more games that I want to showcase because I didn't initially figure out this exact list. So I'm not going to change the list on the sidebar because that's still the list that I'm recommending. Here's another just fun Lamentis animation, despite it not doing anything. Pretty silly stuff there. But I did want to just showcase some other games that did some fun stuff with the featured location, still trying to make Agatha work, and you can kind of see why some of those games might, or some of those decks might not be as strong, why some of those strategies might not work as easily. But TaskMaster copying Agatha is a ton of power, so that's really fun. And now for the final turn, we can Gamora to try to predict my opponent, or we can just Magneto. We can Magneto right into the Savage Land, and that's going to be as good as throwing a Gamora there in either capacity, and might be better if there's like some sort of tiebreaker or something like that, and differential is important. So there you go. There is a nice little win with Agatha. Might have been up against a bot because they just play Destroyer here, and it's not like particularly great. They're losing. Though I guess they were winning if we had just played Magneto into Lamentis. Okay, yeah, so maybe it wasn't a bot, because they win if we Magneto or do something in Lamentis there, or if we played a leader. Maybe that would have been bad. I don't know. Maybe we still win in that scenario too. But either way, really, actually, I don't know. Let me know. I don't feel like doing the math. Let's move on to the next video. I think we lose if we play leader because it destroys our Agatha and our death. So yeah, be mindful of that. But that is, of course, why I didn't. But here's a different list that I was playing for a second. This was without Quicksilver or Domino, but instead with Black Widow and Scorpion, as well as some other tricky cards like Korg and Iceman early on the curve to try to disrupt your opponent. And this is just absolutely too sweet with this location. If you can Black Widow on turn 2, and Lamentis has not been revealed yet, you gotta snap, because just for the small chance, and I played this game like right after the featured location was revealed, so my opponent had no clue what was going on, but we're gonna give them a Widow's Bite, which now doesn't allow them to draw any more cards. And now they're going to lose their whole deck as well, and they're not going to get that bonus of drawing 3 cards. So my opponent had to give me the thumbs up emoji there. Pretty sweet stuff. We could even Scorpion them now and make all of the cards in their hand a little bit weaker. There you go, Agatha. Well played indeed. So that's going to be a pretty nice one, and my opponent will go ahead and retreat. And I think I've got 2 more games that I wanted to showcase. So we'll take a look at some of those now as I was like playing around with some things. But this is with that same deck list that I just used in that last video. Oh, though this one, we are also playing Lady Sif and Ghost Rider. That's right, now I remember this one. Okay, this is just a fun one. The last 2 games I think are just fun ones, not really any educational purposes, but definitely some fun entertainment in these ones. So my opponent leads with Nova into Mindscape, and then location number 2 is going to be Asgard, and we're going to get my opponent with the Black Widow, so we gotta go ahead and snap just in case that 3rd location winds up being Lamentis again, and we can deny my opponent all the card draw. So that's not quite how this one is going to go. That 3rd location is not going to be Lamentis, so we're going to have to play a real game here, unfortunately, against an opponent that has a full deck. That 3rd location is going to be Dream Dimension, which isn't super great for this deck because we do play a lot of 5 cost cards, though TaskMaster isn't great when you're not hitting wave anyways. I was moving around a lot of pieces in and out. Not everything worked. You'll definitely see that in the next one where basically everything goes wrong. But this turn we're going to play Yellowjacket plus Ghost Rider, which is basically nothing. But what's really interesting about this game in particular is we've got Mindscape. So we know what my opponent's turn 6 play is. My opponent, all they're going to be able to do on turn 6 is play Agatha. So that actually gives us a little bit of a chance in this one. My opponent draws 2 cards off Asgard, or I should say we draw 2 cards off Asgard because those are coming to us. So we're gonna wave on this second to last turn here, pass it back to my opponent. who is only going to play Agatha. That's the only thing they'll be able to do. Now, we might also only be able to play one card because of the fact that we just waived, so that part is a little bit awkward too, but, well, you'll see how it plays out in just a second. My opponent is going to wind up playing I don't even remember. What do they play here? Something not super impressive, either into Mindscape or Asgard. But like I said, I don't remember. So we'll see what that is in just one moment. Okay, they play a card to Mindscape, and I think it's just it's an armor. Okay, well, interesting. So I don't exactly know what is up with my opponent's deck. It's actually kind of just like a tech deck we actually get to see as we wind up stealing all of their cards here. Cosmo, Shang-Chi, Killmonger, Leader, Captain Marvel, and then we'll draw our own America Chavez for the turn. But here's what's interesting. We play Chavez center lane, and now regardless of where Agatha goes, we win the other two locations. If Agatha goes center, we win the side too. And if Agatha goes in one of those side locations, we'll be able to steal the middle. So I just thought this was a really, really sweet one that you wouldn't expect Agatha to be able to win you the game when you don't get to do the combo stuff, but this was just a really fun one where Mindscape made our opponent have to Agatha, and that left them with no other options here other than to retreat. I do want to look at one final game to round out the video, and this one is just a comedy of errors. This one is all over the place. And in this one, I'm also running a slightly different list than either of the previous ones. Like I said, I was experimenting a lot, and this list has Quicksilver and Domino to kind of fill out the curve, and then has both Lady Sif, Ghost Rider, and also has Wave in the deck. So Nick Fury is going to get Iceman here, and then we get Lamentis. So we're going to draw 3 cards from our deck, and we draw both Lady Sif and Wave. You can see that this is an early list because it's running Jubilee in it. I think I actually accidentally hit the button because what I was trying to do is test some Agatha decks before Lamentis came out. And then I accidentally just wound up playing my Agatha deck instead of my Lamentis deck. So Sokovia is going to come in and discard Wave, which means we have to play Lady Sif this turn, and that'll discard Agatha, and then we can play Ghost Rider. Or at least, so I was thinking. But because of the fact that Iceman hit Nick Fury, we are actually going to be discarding Nick Fury right now. So we're still locked under Agatha, which is super awkward, and then we play Ghost Rider. So now we're going to be reanimating Nick Fury instead, which is super awkward. Juggernaut kicks us out of the flooded location, and then Ghost Rider reanimates, wait a minute, Wave. I was not expecting that one, but we actually do wind up waving. So now we will get to Agatha on turn 5, which will let us Taskmaster on turn 6. And despite thinking that I had no shot in this game, all of a sudden, we're actually adding a lot of power to the board in these final 2 turns. Agatha will be able to defeat Jessica Jones. Then Taskmaster 14 power in the open lane seems pretty good. I also just throw down the rock. Not sure if it's better or worse too, but seemed good enough to me and good enough to my opponent. So we were able to grab the win despite playing Jubilee in our Lamentis-1 deck. But that is going to be it for me today. Hopefully you guys had fun watching these videos. I'll throw the deck list fully back up on the screen here, and yeah, let me know if you decide to experiment with some Agatha stuff today for Lamentis-1. But that's going to be it for me today, so thank you very much for watching. I'm No Lux Given. Peace.